Hey, give thumbs up. Looking up like that. And action. All right. Well, hi everybody. This is part 2 of the movie collection video. I'm Clark.
I'm Bianca.
Yes, and we are still in drama. We have one more romantic drama film to go through before we get into sport films. So we're going to just kick it off right here with this next movie, Closer, which was a really fucking weird, dark, perverted movie. Well, what did you think of this?
I was very interested to start with because it's got Jude Law, Julia Roberts, it's got a great cast.
Yeah.
But
Fantastic.
it went really weird, like very strange
Yeah.
writing in it, and
Yeah, it was kind of sick and messed up. Like there was catfishing before catfishing was a thing.
Yeah.
And Natalie Portman's a stripper, and there's a really creepy scene. Clive Owen is like a seedy, creepy doctor character, but it is like nothing how you've ever seen these actors, and that's kind of makes it interesting.
yeah, the characters were just really out there, and
Yeah.
you just didn't feel sorry for any of them. So like the movie We Don't Live Here Anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly like that. You just don't feel sorry
Like
for
all
any
the
of them.
characters are kind of bad.
Yeah, so you
bad
just have
people.
no empathy for anyone.
Yeah, but it is interesting seeing these characters in this kind of role.
Yeah.
And now we're in sports. We're going to kick it off with a Clint Eastwood movie, Invictus. This is a rugby movie set in South Africa. Matt Damon has a South African accent, if you can
Interesting.
imagine that. Oh, that's pretty funny. And Morgan Freeman plays Nelson Mandela in this.
Before I watch it, what did you think of it? Like, did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did enjoy it. It's Clint Eastwood, and a lot of his newer movies are very unstylized. They're not without personality. It's very sort of, a sports biopic with Nelson Mandela in it. I don't remember the plot details too well, but I remember enjoying this. And next here, we have my favourite sports movie of all time. This is The Wrestler, directed by Darren Aronofsky, with Mickey Rourke in an amazing performance. It's about his relationship with his daughter, or lack thereof, like they have an estranged relationship, I suppose you'd say.
Okay.
And also his relationship with a stripper. So it's interesting that it's a wrestling drama, but it's very much about his relationship with the women in his life. But it's also a very raw, realistic look at like pro wrestling, and sort of the having become famous and then becoming down and out sort of thing.
Yeah, so what makes it one of your favourite movies? Is it the writing? Is it the director?
Yeah, it's the writing, it's the raw, realistic nature of it. It's like a documentary. Like there's a lot of shots where the camera just sort of follows characters from behind. A very raw glimpse into different lifestyles than ours. So yeah, that's...
So like an emotionally driven...
Yeah, it's super emotional. I mean, it's really sad.
I mean, even like the cover of that, like, look at that.
Yeah, I know. It looks pretty epic. It's pretty cool. I like
It's
that.
very cool.
Next we have another wrestling drama, which is kind of a really creepy movie, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, Steve Carell plays a really weird wrestling coach, and Channing Tatum plays sort of his protege.
What?
Yeah.
Steve Carell?
Yeah. Steve
Okay.
Carell in all this weird makeup. If people might have seen like trailers of this, but yeah. He's a weird, creepy character. He kind of has a drug problem. And yeah, it's about his relationship with trying to make Channing Tatum an Olympic wrestler. Channing Tatum sort of plays like the young guy desperate to prove himself. And yeah, Steve Carell plays... I mean, you can kind of imagine a wrestling coach being a bit weird, can't you?
Yeah,
that kind of
absolutely.
goes hand in hand. Like,
It's almost stereotypical.
yeah, I mean, I love WWE, but real wrestling is kind of a weird sport, especially when it's, it's kind of a creepy teacher-student relationship movie, to be honest, but it's good.
So how does it compare to The Wrestler?
Well, The Wrestler is a lot more raw and gritty, whereas this is maybe a bit more polished. Like, visually it's a lot different, more going for the Oscar baity stuff.
Okay.
Whereas The Wrestler was nominated for a ton of awards come Oscar season, Best Director, Best Actor, but it doesn't feel as though it's trying to be that, whereas this is like, trying to be like, look critics, look Academy voters, this Steve Carell's doing an amazing performance, but it's good.
Okay.
And then we have Creed, a boxing movie, and this is awesome. You've seen Creed. You liked Creed a lot? Yeah.
Very good.
Yes.
It's great.
Oh yeah, it is great. It gets you like just pumped up. It's inspiring. It's just a movie so full of energy. I thought this movie was just awesome.
Yeah, great visually, like great visual fighting.
The fighting choreography is incredible. And I wasn't even that big a fan of the Rocky movies, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm the same. I would much prefer Creed over Rocky.
Yeah, but Creed's totally awesome.
Yeah.
And then I might just do these both at the same time. We have Creed 2 and Creed 3. And Creed 2 was pretty awesome. I remember it being maybe not quite as good as Creed 1, essentially very similar. And then Creed 3 has the now cancelled Jonathan Majors. What do you reckon of that?
I loved Jonathan Majors in this. He was so raw. And
I've loved him in everything I've seen him in, like every performance.
He was great in that. He was
really like believable.
He was memorable. He was probably one of my favourite characters in that.
Yeah, like the scenes of him boxing, he's like a beast, like an animal. Like he's just such a maniac. Which kind of makes it all the less surprising that he's a woman basher. By the sounds of it, it sounds like just a wife beater or whatever.
It's funny because I think Creed 3 is my favourite.
It
was so visually stimulating and amazing. I don't know if it was because it was in cinemas, but I really enjoyed the visuals of this, the fight scenes.
Next up we have The Fighter. This is also another boxing movie. Christian Bale is sort of a meth. He's on meth. A meth addict, very skinny, very kind of tweaky, like twingy.
Is he the boxer or coach?
Oh, the coach. Okay. Yeah, I believe. Yeah, Mark Wahlberg is the boxer. Amy Adams is in it, and
oh wow.
Yeah, and it's about Mark Wahlberg. Amy Adams staying with Mark Wahlberg's family, and his family being really like Boston tough guy, sort of old school, like just a crazy family essentially. Yeah,
and I noticed based on a true story as well.
Yeah, based on a true story. Directed by, what's his name? David O. Russell, who apparently is a bit of an arsehole, like on set. And I've seen a YouTube video of him on set of a movie, I Heart Huckabees, where he, just kind of verbally abuses his actors.
Oh, wow.
I would say, the guy's got a temper, but some of his movies are pretty good, and The Fighter I remember liking. And next we have another Clint Eastwood sports drama, $1 Million Baby, a boxing movie. This is, a classic pretty much. I've seen it a couple of times. Like some of other, like I was saying with Invictus, Clint Eastwood's movies tend to be very unstylish these days, and maybe ever. But they're still like good dramas, Good acting and performances. And next we have another boxing movie, yet again, Ali with Will Smith, who's now maybe not officially cancelled due to assaulting Chris Rock at the Oscars, but this is him as Muhammad Ali, the boxing champion, directed by Michael Mann. Another boxing movie, Raging Bull, directed by Martin Scorsese. This is really good, shot in black and white, Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci. Sort of quite a raw, unglamorized look at the boxing industry. I guess a bit like The Wrestler, but with boxing instead.
Okay.
Yeah, some good like boxing scenes and good performances and whatnot.
How was it in black and white? Do you think it worked well? Or?
Yeah, it worked well. They didn't, it's not in black and white because it's really, really old. They shot it in black and white.
It sounds like it's on
purpose, a stylistic choice. It kind of gives it, that old school kind of feel. Now we're getting into sort of more niche sports dramas about niche sports, and this is about motocross, Hellion, starring Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad. Juliette Lewis is in this too, which is perfect casting for her because she plays she can be really good at playing like a southern, like white trash kind of character. This, from memory, I saw it a little while ago. It was pretty good, especially off the back of Breaking Bad.
Oh, yeah. That'd be a good...
Yeah, it's good to see Aaron Paul like doing
back to back.
doing something different. Then we have a Formula One movie, Rush, with Chris Hemsworth and Daniel Bruhl, directed by Ron Howard. And this was, a good film. I look forward to us watching this. Rush was pretty awesome. Next we have here an Australian movie, Breath, about surfing. And this was pretty cool, directed by and starring Simon Baker, an Australian actor. It's based on a book, a really good book called Breath by Tim Winton. And yeah, that book's amazing. Like,
You read the book?
Yeah, it's one of those books, you know, when you read a book and it's so descriptive that, you just feel like you're there. You feel like you can smell the salt and the sand and the sea. It just puts you in the environment of surfing so well.
Did you read the book first and then watch the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, so how was that?
Yeah, it was good. Like, the movie compares well. It's not really like a sunny, summery movie. It's more like, I guess it maybe doesn't look like that as much here. It's like a cold, wintry sort of movie, but there's surfing anyway. It has some weird elements towards the end, like weird sexual elements, I would say. That kind of takes you a bit off guard, but it's a really good drama. Then we have a winter sports film, Eddie the Eagle. And this has, Taron Egerton and Hugh Jackman.
Ooh, what a cast.
Yeah, good cast. It's about, like, ski jumping, where, an Olympic sport. It's about a guy in his early 20s who wants to become an Olympic athlete, and it's about sort of overcoming those odds. Seeing as to become an Olympic athlete, you sort of need to be doing your sport since birth. Next we have a roller derby movie, Whip It, which I've heard roller derby or derby? Is it roller derby or
derby.
Roller derby? Roller derby. It's spelt that, but then I hear people say derby and I'm like, what?
No.
Yeah, but it's Elliot Page.
Oh, yes.
Back when they were Ellen Page. And apparently this can be a very competitive, brutal sport, as I said, so I look forward to checking this one out. I've been to a couple of roller derby matches, to be honest, and it's kind of entertaining. Like, you see the competitors, they give themselves like team names and they give themselves their own names on the back of their jerseys, and they come up with some pretty creative, funny names. Getting back into mainstream sports a bit here, I guess. We have a basketball movie, Hoosiers. I've not seen this yet, but it has a good cast, and I saw a good review of it from a YouTuber I really like, Chris Stuckman, reviewed this and it sold me on it. Like, it sounds like a really good drama. I think it's partly about alcoholism too. Gene Hackman is a basketball coach, and I think Dennis Hopper is the father of one of the players. Leading on with basketball movies, we have Coach Carter, which you've seen this.
No.
Oh, you haven't seen this? Oh, this is like the movie that is always shown in schools. Like, it's always like a school class movie, Coach Carter. I've seen it so many times at school alone. And because of lesson time, I've probably only ever seen the first half or the first 2/3 a million times, and maybe the whole movie once.
Obviously I've heard of it.
Coach Carter. Samuel L. Jackson. I remember it being a pretty good high school basketball drama.
Oh, so you haven't seen it since?
No, not since high school. I don't think so.
All right.
Yeah, should be cool. Samuel Jackson, you just can't.
That would be the appeal for me, is the cast.
Yeah. And next we have a double feature, and this is going to go into about 6 Spike Lee movies that I have here. So He Got Game, this is an actual sports basketball movie, another basketball movie, and 25th Hour, which will lead us into our Spike Lee collection and race-related drama films. He Got Game has Denzel Washington as the father and coach of his son's basketball team. A lot of coarse language, a lot of sex scenes, a lot of drug use, and it's not for kids at all. And neither is 25th Hour, which is with Edward Norton, and it's about a guy who, for the last 25 hours, it's about his life in the 25 hours leading up to his prison sentence. And what he does in that time. Yeah.
That sounds really interesting. I've never heard of it before.
Yeah, like he has sort of those 25 hours to just do what he wants, then I assume, you know, he goes to court and then it's prison. Like, he's a drug dealer, I think. That's, very cool movie. Spike Lee movies are always just super cool. This is one of my favorite movies here. Do the Right Thing. This is a race-related drama about a pizza shop in Brooklyn, New York, owned by Italians, with, black people in the neighborhood who they don't really... Well, the drama starts off with they have a lot of film posters in their store of Italian famous actors, but no black famous actors. And this escalates into, like, sort of a race war in the suburb. And this is a really energetic movie, amazing soundtrack, very jazzy, a lot of fast sort of jazz music, a lot of really crazy, quirky characters. I can't wait to watch this, with you, because this is a really, like, special movie.
Yeah, so tell me about the rating, like, it's rated R.
Oh, yeah, like, it has a lot of coarse language, I guess.
Okay.
Like, it is our freaking coarse language. And it's also, like, it's just a grown-ups movie, I guess, too. Like, maybe that's the main reason, but... it's one of my favourite movies of all time. It's a really, timeless kind of movie. I mean, with the Black Lives Matter stuff going on at the moment, kind of recently, I guess, the George Floyd... Is it? Yeah, George Floyd? The George Floyd debacle. This is really like, oh my God, not much has changed. And this is just like real life, this movie.
So it's unfortunately age 12.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I mean, it's aged really well. But unfortunately, it's such an enjoyable movie. It's such a cool movie. And then we have this Spike Lee movie, which is very long, super, super long. It goes for about 1,000 minutes. And it's Malcolm X, about the famous politician who was assassinated at the end of his life. And it's Denzel Washington, and it's his whole entire story from, his very young years to the end of his life.
So why is it in sports drama?
Oh, we're out of sports drama now. Oh. Sorry. But I didn't really announce that in the video, but now we're getting into the Spike Lee sort of collection. Do the Right Thing and 25th Hour. Yeah, I guess He Got Game was sort of the last, sports movies. So, this, he was a politician, sort of spokesperson. Another Spike Lee movie, which I haven't seen, called Sucker Free City. And I don't know much about this, but it's, gang life. Urban culture sort of movie. But like all Spike Lee movies, he's like an insanely energetic director. Like any one of his movies is like just has so much energy and passion behind it. And then we have here another Spike Lee movie that I also haven't seen, don't know much about, called She Hate Me. And there's another Spike Lee movie called She's Gotta Have It. So it's very similar titles. When I first saw this, I'm like, what? Isn't this that movie, She's Gotta Have It? But this has an interesting cast, actually. It's got Woody Harrelson in it, Anthony Mackie, Brian Dennehy from Rambo, First Blood, and John Turturro. A lot of different, a lot of different good actors in this. I'd never heard of it until I saw it in the store. This is one of the movies I got in the Riverland. In the Riverland here in SA, there is a million shops with billions of DVD movies. Like, if you're in SA and you're looking for somewhere to find physical media movies, and you don't mind DVDs, like they don't have to be on 4K and Blu-ray, towns in the Riverland are the place to go. Like Renmark, Balmera, what was the other one?
Oh, Wakery.
No, not in Wakery. Oh, Berry. That was it. Yes, Berry. The next movie we have here is a really great movie. The Last Black Man in San Francisco is beautiful. If you look at the trailer, it's amazingly well shot. It has Jonathan Majors in it as well. They cancelled Jonathan Majors, and this is like the first movie I saw with him in it. And as I was watching it and after I watched it, I realised this guy is really good. Like, he's got something. He's got some charisma, and I was so shocked when I heard that he's just a woman basher. So, but this is a beautiful movie. It's about two best friends, and it's about one of their homes in San Francisco and how They want to sell it, they want to restore it, and I think it's being threatened to be knocked down or something or replaced. So, but yeah, it's a really beautiful, awesome movie, The Last Black Man in San Francisco.
So this isn't a Spike Lee movie?
No, not a Spike Lee movie. Yeah, another director, Joe Talbot. If Beale Street Could Talk, this is from the director of Moonlight, one of my all-time favourite movies. Yeah, same director as Moonlight. It's a love story, that's what I remember. But I think it's about him going to, like, the man is going to prison. And, yeah, but, I remember it being pretty good. Nowhere near as good as Moonlight. Beautiful music, though. Beautiful music. Queen and Slim, which I've also not seen, but this is sort of a crime on the run sort of story. Daniel Kaluuya, Jodie Turner-Smith. It looks really cool. Pretty energetic. Directed by Melina Matsoukas. Boys in the Hood, which is really, really cool. A good urban drama about a police shooting. Ice Cube's in it. Lawrence Fishburne. Cuba Gooding Jr. From the same director as Too Fast, Too Furious.
Wow.
Yeah, John Singleton. This was a great drama movie. We have Fruitvale Station with Michael B. Jordan. It's kind of the movie that put him on the map.
Oh.
I guess got him the Creed role. This was about a police shooting in a train station, based on true story. Directed by the same director as Black Panther and Creed.
Oh, wow.
So there you go. Next up we have Fences with Denzel Washington, and this is probably one of his most energetic, powerful, like, crazy performances where he is going for the fences, as it were. He also did direct this movie too, so yeah, Denzel Washington and Viola Davis. Denzel Washington plays like a former baseball star, and his son is getting into baseball, but he's a very, very dominant, angry, crazy person, a bit like a lot of roles that Denzel Washington is really, really good at playing. Yeah. So yeah, it's a very full-on, like, out there performance by Denzel Washington in this. Next we have 12 Years a Slave, and you have seen this. Yeah. What did you think of 12 Years a Slave?
Yeah, it was good. It's still, I watched it a while ago, but it's still a movie that I think about today. Just, you know, a movie about slavery and just how dark it was. A dark film.
Yeah, it's a really, like, powerful sort of movie, isn't it? Like, really brutal. And, amazingly, like, beautifully well shot. It has an amazing cast, and the director is one of my probably favourite directors. He did a movie we'll get to in a bit called Shame, which I really like that movie. But 12 Years a Slave is very full on. I need to see it again. It's been a while since I've seen it, but there's some really, like, scenes that are just uncomfortable to watch. That just go on for a long time, and it's just like, oh. But yeah, it's a dark chapter of American and world history, really. It's kind of fucked. Next we have Crash, the Best Picture winner from 2004, which is famously, supposedly, one of the all-time worst Best Picture winners. Like, the worst movie to fucking win Best Picture. But I haven't seen it. It's one of those movies where it's like the same event or the same day told from multiple different perspectives, like people's different points of views. Next we have 21 Grams, and this will sort of, I guess, close out the kind of race-related dramas, but this is directed by Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu, who did like The Revenant, Birdman, and some really good like recent movies. And this is also similar in that I think it's a story told from different people's perspectives, their lives interconnecting in ways you wouldn't expect. So next, this will bring us into our coming-of-age drama section, and we have The Squid and the Whale, and I really, really love this movie. This is like a really kind of darkly funny but also powerful look at divorce. Like, it's about, and it's told from the two teenage boy sons' perspectives of their parents, getting a divorce.
Tell us about what coming of age theme is about.
Coming of age are just a series of movies about, high school, college age. It's mostly young people coming of age, like discovering themselves, growing up, and going through, I guess the dark times or the light times or the trials and tribulations. In this case, yeah, a divorce. But this is also directed by Noah Baumbach, who did Marriage Story, Frances Ha. I think he directed that, yeah. Yeah, really good indie director. And this is, yeah, a really good movie. A good look at, like, family relationships. Next we have We Need to Talk About Kevin, which is directed by Lynn Ramsey with Tilda Swinton, and it's about realising that your son might be a sociopath. So this is almost coming of age for the mother and the son, I guess, because, like, it goes through his, the son's young childhood through to his older teenagehood, and how he's a fucking bad kid. There's just something wrong with him.
I have a feeling that this is a book as well.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it might be. I'm not sure who the author is or when the book came out, but this movie came out, when did it come out? About 2011-ish, I think. So yeah, it's quite modern, quite contemporary look at motherhood. And I guess the taboo concept of hating your son, like realising your son is awful and not really knowing why. And then we have Men, Women and Children, which is sort of a look at how social media affects teenagers, kids and parents negatively. This is, a pretty dark movie too, directed by Jason Reitman. A really, like, crazy cast, like Adam Sandler's in this. It's about porn addiction, it's about social media addiction, it's about, like, suicide or suicidal ideation. It's not a very happy movie, but I remember thinking it was very interesting. Next we have Boyhood, which I really, really enjoy. It's filmed over 12 years. It has Ethan Hawke and Patricia Arquette. We're both big Ethan Hawke fans, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is directed by Richard Linklater, who was sort of one of those staples of, like, good indie directors in the 90s rising to fame. So, like, you have Richard Linklater, Kevin Smith, Quentin Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez. They all kind of, came to fame in the 90s with independent cinema, which really took off. So, yeah, Boyhood's really good. Next, we have Spielberg's latest. I think it's his latest movie. He hasn't directed a movie since. It's The Fabelmans, which is a sort of semi-autobiographical tale of him as a kid and his, growing love for movies, the sort of little films he produced as a kid, him growing up, moving towns with his family. He just clearly has a huge talent and a huge passion for filmmaking from such an early age, and it's about that process. This is a movie I watched as a child, and it kind of, I wouldn't say scarred me, but it kind of fucked me up for a bit, like, because there's a scene where his mum tries to commit suicide, and I saw it at a very young age, and that concept of a mother attempting suicide was like a lot for me to handle.
Yeah,
I guess.
even now.
It's
a horrible thought.
Yeah, like, this movie's never talked about as being impactful, but it kind of is. But it's really good. It's a really good, like, comedic drama about a boy. You know, Hugh Grant, Toni Collette.
Great cast.
Next, in coming of age, we have Stand By Me, directed by Rob Reiner. Have you seen this?
No.
Yeah, it's about a group of kids who find a dead body.
Oh, wow.
Who go looking and exploring, and as kids they find a dead body, and how that kind of impacts them through, through the rest of their lives.
Yeah, it would definitely be a psychologically impactful thing to see a dead body as a kid. Yeah,
because they're kind of rebellious kids as well. Like, they like causing trouble, you know, they're smoking, they're swearing. Based on a short story by Stephen King, yes.
Yeah, nice.
Next we have The Breakfast Club, and this is a really good sort of coming-of-age high school movie about a group of very different high school students who all get a detention on Saturday, and how they're all from a different type of clique in high school, but they all kind of bond with each other and get to know each other on a deeper level in this detention session that they're in. So this is really good, staple of the 80s, great soundtrack. I watched this in school too. We did a film analysis of it. Next we have American Graffiti, directed by George Lucas, who did Star Wars. This is from the 80s, set in the 1950s, about high school life again. It's, a night out at the drive-in at 50s diners. It's very 50s culture, because I guess like in the 80s, they were nostalgic about the 50s.
Yeah.
And now we're nostalgic about the 80s. It's like that same kind of thing.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like Grease.
Yeah, it is like that. This came out in the 70s, not the 80s. Next we have Ghost World, which I've not seen, but it is from the director of Bad Santa. Oh, and there we go, from the director of Crumb. I have no idea what that is, but it has a really young Scarlett Johansson in it.
Oh, wow.
Like teenage age. Steve Buscemi's in it. Yeah, Ghost World. Next we have Good Will Hunting here, really famous Robin Williams performance, written by Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. And their first sort of writing credit. And I think their second one was in 2021 with The Last Duel. It's kind of set in the Middle Ages about jousting. Yeah, a Ridley Scott directed movie. But yeah, this is a really good movie about sort of poetry and college life. Next we have Dead Poets Society, really similar to Good Will Hunting, as Robin Williams again playing like an English teacher at a boys' school. He has sort of alternative teaching methods, a bit like in Good Will Hunting. Election, which I've not seen, another movie about high school, college life, I guess about high school politics, I think. But Matthew Broderick, you know, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, that's such an iconic film.
I mean, and another Reese Witherspoon movie.
Yeah, Reese Witherspoon. Yeah, Reese Witherspoon is magnificent. Dick. And this is another high school kind of political movie about, high school politics. But it is about the actual Richard Nixon. It's about a high school tour of the White House. It's about clueless teens come face to face with President Richard Nixon and become embroiled in the secret wrongdoings that will shock the world. Bad Education with Hugh Jackman and Alison Janney from I, Tonya. Like Tonya Harding's mum in I, Tonya. We're both like fans of I, Tonya. The Miseducation of Cameron Post, which is really good. Look, it has Sasha Lane from American Honey. We mentioned in the last video, American Honey is kind of a special movie for us. So Chloe Grace Moretz as well. This is about gay conversion therapy, like Christian gay conversion therapy camps where, you know, parents who are Catholic can send their children to it if they don't want their children to, like, be gay. They send them to gay conversion therapy.
Very controversial film, yeah.
Really fucked up, like, insanely fucked up. Like, but, this is a look into that, and this was, pretty good. What's Eating Gilbert Grape with Johnny Depp, Leonardo DiCaprio, really early role.
Wow, he looks like a kid.
Yeah, he is. Like, this was 1993. He was probably like 17 or 16 or something.
Oh, look at Johnny Depp as well.
Yeah, really. And Juliette Lewis in it as well.
Oh, wow.
She looks different. She doesn't look like her punk rock self.
No.
But yeah, I saw this a long time ago. I don't remember hardly anything about it. I may as well have not have seen this, but I know Leonardo DiCaprio plays a mentally challenged person, like, you know, someone with like extreme autism or something like that. They're growing up on a farm, very independent movie. Nebraska I have not seen, but it's from a good director, Alexander Payne, who did Sideways, The Descendants, which we are coming up to.
Yeah, it's the next one.
Yeah, the next one. The Descendants. So Nebraska and Descendants, he does kind of really black comedies, like, you know, really subtle humour, mostly drama, but this is about old people, I believe. Like Bruce Dern's in it. I think it's sort of a road movie, to be honest, but it looks like, a very quirky, sort of independent, black and white, dramatic comedy. And next we have from the same director, The Descendants, with George Clooney. This is a really good family drama too. Meaning not really a drama to sit down and watch with the family, but more like a drama about family life. It's set in Hawaii too, so it has really beautiful like cinematography. Good sort of locations. Some other good actors in it too. Shailene Woodley, Judy Greer. Yeah, this was a good film. Haven't seen it in a while, but look forward to seeing it again. Next we have another black and white, really independent looking drama. I've not seen it, but it's Come On, Come On from the director of 20th Century Women, which I was a big fan of, one of the most underrated movies in the last decade. But this is Joaquin Phoenix.
Lovely.
Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix. Really intense actor, would you say?
Yeah.
You know, Joker, any one of his more recent movies, and a really intense person too.
Yeah, great actor.
Yeah. Have you seen any interviews with Joaquin Phoenix?
No.
He's a whack job, man. I think it's crazy. Maria Full of Grace, which looked kind of interesting. I believe it is Italian or French. It says on the back here, less a film about the drug trade than about a woman ensnared in it. So, yeah, sort of a dramatic movie. Seems to be about pills. I think it's either French or Italian. I'm not quite sure. Maybe look it up. Oh, Colombian. Maybe it's Colombian. Okay. This movie is Colombian, actually. Next we have Friends from France, which is a French movie, I believe. It's rated R, it says here, so it could be quite full on. It's about cousins who pretend that they're engaged.
Whoa. What a weird theme.
Yeah. I saw it in a shop somewhere. I thought it looked interesting. A bit like Maria Full of Grace. I don't know hardly anything about it, but it could be an interesting little independent foreign film. I don't know about my collection. I don't know half of them. But Sleeping Beauty, that has Emily Browning in it. This is about, I sort of know what this is about. It's about experimental sexual experiments.
Oh, this has been on TikTok lately.
Oh, okay.
There's been scenes on it where he's touching her
while she's asleep.
Yeah, in the bed there.
Yeah, okay.
I have to show you. I'll show you later.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh, that's weird. I didn't realise. Yeah, that is definitely the same scene.
Oh my god, that's
really weird.
That's pretty weird. Yeah, it's about a young university student who takes a job as a sleeping beauty.
Yeah.
And it's where old men seek an erotic experience that requires Lucy being asleep. So it's sort of a sex trade where the sex workers are asleep and you can volunteer to do this. That's fucked up. But this could make for quite an interesting drama. And there's
a scene on TikTok that's going around where it's it must be someone that's checking to see if she's good enough for so this chick is stripping and she's checking her out.
Yeah.
And asking her questions and interviewing her to make sure that she's a right fit for him.
Oh, okay. So those clips are on TikTok. Yeah, okay. Gone viral on TikTok. A bit like
How old is the movie? What year is this?
How old? 2011, I think.
Oh, wow.
Maybe 2011. Okay. Yeah, not that old, but yeah. Kind of old.
Yeah, relatively old.
Yeah, pretty old to come...
big on TikTok
yeah,
at the moment.
To become big on TikTok, yeah.
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 Interesting. That's weird you have that movie.
Yeah, I know. It sounds like a creepy movie. Oh, speaking of creepy movies, Spring Breakers with, have you seen this?
No.
Oh, it's
that looks terrible.
No, it's, it's not amazing, but it's it's an interesting look at debauchery and young high schoolers. I mean, James Franco is really pretty incredible in this. I mean, he's kind of cancelled now. Yeah, he's a good
actor for that role.
Yeah, he's a good creep, drug dealer, pimp, kind of Pied Piper, reeling in young, impressionable people and getting them involved in some dodgy business and dodgy environments. But Spring Breakers is it's a visionary film. Probably the best movie the director Harmony Korine's done, who's done some pretty terrible movies. But so Spring Breakers is kind of a staple of modern culture, modern party culture at this point. It's got a lot of former Disney stars in it, like Selena Gomez and Vanessa Hudgens.
That's so cringe.
I know, yeah.
Oh, wow.
But it might hold up terribly, which would be interesting if it holds up to 10 years later. as, yeah, just really dated and awful. But we'll see. Next we have Prozac Nation. I don't know a lot about this, but I mean, you know, Prozac's an antidepressant. This sort of also looks like a coming of age. We're sort of going from coming of age into dark dramas. It's about being young and confused in America, as said on the back of their case. But it has a good cast. And then next we have 13. This is directed by Catherine Hardwicke, who did Twilight and Lords of Dogtown. But yeah, this is an unflinching look inside the troubled lives of teenagers. So yeah, a bit coming of age, a bit of a dark drama. We'll see what this is like. It's got Evan Rachel Wood in it from Westworld.
Wow.
Yeah, Holly Hunter.
It'd be interesting to see this movie with Ghostworld. It kind of looks a little bit similar.
Yeah, a lot of these are all pretty good, you know, double features. They're good transitions from one to another. So next we have Precious, which is sort of, an urban drama set in the underclass suburbs of New York about a teenage high schooler who's, you know, morbidly obese, I suppose you'd say, and her really, really rough life at home and at school. It's depressing, it's dark, it's really full on. The actress Monique won an Oscar for it. I don't know, is she like a musician? I don't really know of her, but I remember her in this movie, and whew, she is an abusive mother. This was really good. Yeah. Dark shit. And next up we have another dark drama, New Zealand drama, also about domestic domestic violence, I guess, like domestic abuse. Once Were Warriors. It's just a slice of life sort of drama, really, but yeah, Once Were Warriors, I quite liked it. And then the next movie is the sequel to Once Were Warriors, which I've not seen, called What Becomes of the Broken Hearted. So we'll see how that is. I suspect it's, a raw, gritty look at the urban, violent sort of underworld of New Zealand. In Maori kind of culture. Finally, a movie that, Bianca has seen, a big fan of. You read the book of this?
Yeah, so I read the book before watching the movie.
Yeah.
And the book was great because you didn't really know what was happening until you read a bit more into it. Whereas the movie, you got an idea of what was happening right at the start. Like, they were clearly being held hostage.
Yeah.
And you didn't really see that in the book. It was written so well. I wish it was portrayed a little bit more like that in the movie.
Yeah, like that in the movie,
where you didn't actually know that they were held hostage. Because in the boy's eyes, he thinks it's just normal. Like, he obviously was born in that room and he had no idea about the outside world.
Yeah, I feel like knowing in the movie that room is about like a mother and son being held captive inside a tiny little shed, which is sort of it's sort of decked out on the inside to be a bit like a bedroom, and the boy is like 5 years old. He's only grown up in that shed, but it's sort of a creep, kidnapper, rapist, horrible person who's holding them captive there. I feel like the reason in the movie why it's so obvious is just because of the marketing of the movie. Like, reviews and everything and trailers came out and made it clear that, like, look, this is a personal drama, but, like, it's more of a, not necessarily feel good, but it's not like The Silence of the Lambs or Seven or a serial killer movie at all. It's more of a mother-son relationship.
Yeah, but it's really depressing that the kid can't enjoy what a normal kid should be enjoying, like being outside and enjoying toys and what normal kids want to do. But he just wants to keep going back to where they were held hostage. Yeah. He wants to go back home.
Yeah, so
that's
when
such a depressing part of the movie.
Yeah, so when they get out, the kid's like, "What the hell is all this? I don't like all this. Let's just."
It doesn't adjust to the world very well.
Yeah. I think from memory in the movie, I love this movie. This movie is so good.
One of my favourites.
Yeah, I think it does have it is happy in the end, in that the kid does eventually. It just might be at first, but in the book is a bit more, like, depressing.
I think it's a bit darker.
Yeah.
In the book,
Yeah, I wanna read the book now.
Because the book, you don't really know what's happening. Like, you think that they're just living a normal life at the start of the book. Like, it's really emotionally impactful when you start to learn that they're actually being held hostage. Whereas in the movie, you get that straight away.
Yeah, in the book, like, so, that's like, not revealed unless...
I think it's like halfway.
Until you start reading.
Halfway through the book. So it's just... It feels a lot more suspenseful in the book than it did in the movie. But it's still great. Like, that's still a great movie, but I think the book did it better.
Going right along through dark dramas, we have another Robin Williams movie, One Hour Photo. And this is a movie that, for some reason, got shown on daytime TV when I was a kid during school hours. So if I was home from school, I saw bits of this movie, and some of the scenes in it, kind of stuck with me and freaked me out a bit. Robin Williams stars as a photo technician who has a family who regularly brings their family photos into him to get processed, I guess. And he becomes obsessed with the family and is, stalking them and taking lots of photos of them. And it's a dark, creepy movie. And but it's really good. A really different seeing Robin Williams in a creepy ass role. And now getting steadily even darker, we have Elephant, which is a drama which came out shortly after, I think, the Columbine... was that a school shooting? Like Columbine school shooting? The movie's about a school shooting, and it takes you through the process of high school life. The entire movie has very little dialogue. It's just sort of shots following kids around the school leading up to a certain couple of kids who end up shooting the school up because they're bullied. And it's from the director of Good Will Hunting and some other sort of dark, strange movies. Gus Van Sant, and this is a very dark, there's not a lot of on-screen violence. It's all sort of implied, but even though it says MA, high-level violence. It's full on. Next up, we have Bad Boy Bubby, which, again, an even darker Australian movie. Almost a little bit similar to Room in that he's lived his whole life in this confinement, like this captivity brought on by his mother. He has this like fucked up mother, and it's an incredibly weird, strange movie. He's a grown adult, but he has like mental impairment, like due to like probably since birth, but also he's never been educated, he's never gone to school, he's just...
Well, just the environment that he's obviously been living in.
Which is essentially like a burnt out building, I guess.
Wow.
Like, it's
that
weird.
Sounds really gritty and...
Yeah, but he does get out, and it was shot in South Australia too, shot where we live, and... very dark movie. It has a very happy ending though. Really feel good ending, believe it or not. So
and did you say same director as?
Alexandra's Project. We watched another movie called Alexandra's Project. Another dark sort of drama, and that was good. I liked it. And next we have Crash. This is not the Crash movie I talked about earlier, but this is David Cronenberg's Crash, and this is from the director of The Fly. The same director of The Fly. We watched The Fly just the other night, and that's a classic. But this is about people who have a fetish for car crashes, being involved in them, seeing them. It's that.
That sounds very dark.
This is going to be a dark, weird, strange movie, but I look forward to seeing it. Crash by David Cronenberg. Came out in 1996. Should be good. And next we have Shame. This is the Steve McQueen movie. I sort of mentioned when we talked about 12 Years a Slave, this is from the same director. This is about a sex addict, and we're sort of getting into addiction-related dramas here. So there's quite a few of them coming up. So, this is about a New Yorker who's, just a sex addict, porn addict, prostitute addict. Like, he needs it all the time. He doesn't even... enjoy it anymore. It's just like gotta do it, like it's something. And his sister comes into town and it kind of turns his life upside down, so to speak, but this is a really good drama.
It sounds like it highlights the dark side of addiction.
Yeah, Michael Fassbender in it. Like, yeah, he's really good in it too. Yeah. Oh, from the writer of The Iron Lady and the producers of The King's Speech, two sort of, political, like, British movies. And this is strange because I have Nymphomaniac Volume 2 going on with our sex addiction section here. We saw Volume 1.
Part of it.
Yeah, and you enjoyed it. Like, that was an interesting movie, yeah.
Really interesting movie.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is part 2 of that trilogy. I have this on Blu-ray, but not part 1. That bugs me. I need to get part 1 soon. I just found this in a shop. But yeah, it's very art house, very strange storytelling going on in these movies. They're sort of told a bit out of order. But yeah, they're essentially about an nymphomaniac and her life, the people she meets. And going on with addiction dramas here, we have The Basketball Diaries, which is about heroin addiction. Another really young Leonardo DiCaprio performance. Have you seen this? No. This is full on. This is a pretty depressing movie. But again, a happy ending. Like it's sort of as happy as it could be. It's not like, he dies or ODs in the end. But anyway, yeah, good movie. Would recommend. Very, full on the withdrawal scenes. Like, someone forcibly makes him just stop cold turkey, like doing heroin. And then more drug addiction, heroin addiction movies. Requiem for a Dream. This is from the director of The Wrestler, and it's really good. It's about 3 very different people. 4 different people. Jared Leto and his girlfriend, Jennifer Connelly, are heroin addicts, and their other friend, played by Marlon Wayans, they're all drug addicts. But then you have Ellen Burstyn, a much older woman, who starts taking dietary pills, and that's her addiction with dietary pills. And all 4 of the characters, their lives do not end very nicely as far as their addictions to drugs goes. In different ways, they all have different outcomes of this. And it's, a very full-on, like, a movie that spirals into, the dark side of drug addiction. But yeah, very good. Next here we have Beautiful Boy with Steve Carell in another serious role. Timothée Chalamet, this is about meth addiction. Timothy Chalamet plays like an 18-year-old meth addict. This is quite a recent movie. It's almost in a way, and Requiem for a Dream, you could say, is this too. It's almost like an anti-drug scare film than really I guess as much of a realistic look at drug use as it could be. It's almost like a horror movie, this movie. Like when, Steve Carell finds his son's diary and looks through his room, it's like finding with the music and with what he finds and the way it's done, it feels like a horror movie. Like he's finding out his son's a serial killer or something, but he's just doing drugs. But yeah, still terrifying for a father to find, your son's like into hard drugs and can't get off them. But this was a pretty good film, based on a true story too. Ben is Back with Julia Roberts and Lucas Hedges, who, this guy's one of the great, I reckon, up-and-coming young actors who's not really famous yet, but I reckon he will be, because I reckon everything I've seen him in is really amazing. So it's him coming back home over Christmas and, him being addicted to drugs, essentially. So it's, drug addict drama. Next up we have here Candy, which stars Heath Ledger, an Australian movie. Heath Ledger and Abbey Cornish from Somersault, a movie we both, really enjoyed. This also has Geoffrey Rush in it too, and this is about heroin addiction, another account of realistic drug addiction, this time in Australia. Next we have another Australian movie with Cate Blanchett, Little Fish, which is, I think actually this is a bit different in that it's more about getting off drugs and the kind of post-drug addict world. Like, she's not addicted to heroin in this movie, she used to be. And you have Sam Neill and Hugo Weaving in this too. I've not seen it, so I look forward to seeing what this is all about. Next we have a movie about alcohol addiction. This is Flight with Denzel Washington, where he plays an airline pilot who does a very dangerous flying maneuver in order to save a plane full of passengers whilst under the influence of cocaine and alcohol, and it's about the court hearing and the sort of drama of the after effects of that. And yeah, I remember this being really good soundtrack, good look at kind of moving in and out of alcohol addiction. Like he's tempted a number of times, like you think he's going to be done, but then he's not, and yeah, it's quite good. Next we have Autofocus, which is directed by Paul Schrader, who's an interesting director. Greg Kinnear is in this, and he plays a star of the really old show Hogan's Heroes, who I believe he was also into creating porn. The flip side to fame and fortune was Crane's insatiable desire to love hard and live fast. Fueled by lust and driven by his destructive friendship with sleazy salesman John Carpenter, Crane's life would spin out of control and eventually lead to his brutal murder, which remains one of the most scandalous unsolved mysteries in Hollywood history. This sounds really weird and crazy. Like, I think that's like it's about John Carpenter himself too. I wonder who plays John Carpenter, but yeah. Maybe Willem Dafoe, not sure. But yeah, this sounds like it'll be a weird movie. Kind of about porn, kind of about murder, about Hollywood, about old TV shows and old film stars and directors. We shall see. Next up we have Babylon from the director of Whiplash. Very recent movie, very long movie. We saw this. What did you think of Babylon?
So visually stunning.
Yeah.
Like the choreography, the makeup, the costumes, like very bright and like crazy. Yeah, the kind of film set scenes too, like where they're making films are really
very
good.
Very cool.
Yeah, where
they're
cool.
shooting with like lots and lots of extras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a long movie, but felt fast-paced at the same time.
Yeah.
Like,
there's some very raunchy, sort of raucous, debaucherous parties going on in this movie too. So that's sort of about that too, about the sleazy, drug-addled like lifestyle of living in Hollywood in the 1920s.
And Margot Robbie was amazing. She was a standout for me.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt, I felt, was a bit dull and unmemorable.
Well, actually, I kind of thought that too. Yeah, he's sort of doing the Brad Pitt sort of role that he could do in his sleep.
Yeah,
you know,
it wasn't a standout Brad Pitt movie.
Yeah, he's essentially just playing Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
In a way, like it sort of feels like he's playing Brad Pitt, but Margot Robbie. Yeah,
she was crazy. And,
Next, we have here Boogie Nights, which is another movie about porn in the 70s. It's about the porn industry. It's really good soundtrack, really good, crazy party-like vibes. Great actors in it. It's a real ensemble piece, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, a very energetic, interesting director who, makes quite a few, I guess, slow-moving art films as well as, movies like this. So I think this is a pretty cool, fun movie. It shows the dark side of it too. There's sort of a change midway through where it goes from the really fun, partying lifestyle of porn to the really dark side. And continuing on, we have a few Paul Thomas Anderson movies here to go through. We have Magnolia, which is a really long mosaic-like look at all different people's lives in the San Fernando Valley. It has a very strange climax. A lot of very big famous actors in this and their lives intertwining. And next we have what would have to be my favourite Paul Thomas Anderson movie, There Will Be Blood, set in the 1800s, sort of a neo-noir western about a really greedy oil drilling magnate who's power hungry, money hungry, a total sociopath, will just mow down anyone in his way to get to live his American dream, which is make more money than he knows what to do with in the 1800s in the oil trade. Daniel Day-Lewis is freaking amazing in this fucking movie. He's so frightening and creepy and damaged and a really full-on character. It's more of a character study than a western, but this is a really amazing film. And next we have another Daniel Day-Lewis movie, Phantom Thread, which is sort of similar and could be like a double a good double feature with There Will Be Blood, even though this is about fashion design. But he, plays an egotistical tyrant who's a dressmaker, and he kind of is rude to his staff. He has a new employee, a female employee, who at first he sort of takes control of and starts manipulating her, but as the movie goes on, the tables slowly start to turn, and she's sort of the one in control of him, and kind of, has him by the balls, so to speak. So, yeah.
A bit like Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Yeah, it's a really interesting, character study as well. Yeah, the Devil Wears Prada's good. I've got the Devil Wears Prada. We'll get to the Devil Wears Prada soon, but yeah, this is good film. Then we have The Banshees of Inisherin, my favourite movie of 2022, along with Fire of Love, a documentary, which was really incredible. But this is a dark comedy set during the Irish Civil War about two friends whom one of them decides they just don't want to be friends with the other one anymore because he finds him dull and boring and he's not really interested in continuing their relationship. And the sort of repercussions that has for both men and throughout the small Irish town that they live in. And it's really funny, it's sort of really depressing. Brendan Gleeson is in it. He's the one who wants to not be friends with Colin Farrell, and he goes to drastic measures to try and ensure that doesn't happen, which involves self-mutilation. It's a dark comedy drama, but really, really good. I loved this.
Yeah, and it was nominated for a lot of...
Yeah! And it should have won.
Oscars.
Yeah, it should have won a lot more than what it was nominated for. I'll win a Golden Globes Best Picture, but didn't get the Oscar for it. Next we have another period piece, Perfume, the Story of a Murderer. I've not seen this, but I believe it's sort of, well, it's set in like what looks like the 17 or 1800s, maybe 1600s. I think it's about a serial killer of some sort. But yeah, pretty good cast. Directed by Tom Tykwer, who did like Cloud Atlas. Or he sort of co-directed Cloud Atlas with the Wachowskis. Next we have The Black Dahlia, which is a Brian De Palma movie. And this is, I believe, the Black Dahlia murderer. Was he a real figure?
I'm not sure.
Or was that just a thing in LA Noire as well?
Yeah.
Because, there was the Black Dahlia killer in LA Noire. But this is, sort of a serial killer drama thriller, I guess. Maybe it's more of a thriller than a drama, not sure. And this will conclude this leg of the movie collection video. We're done. We've had enough. We're so tired. We will be back with the rest of the dramas. There's still many more, along with all the other genres that I have here. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
I'm gonna start recording.
Whoa! It's recording, god damn it. Oh no.
That looks cool.